Hi, third graders. Welcome to week 2 of Math Meets Literacy. My name is Mrs. Manley and I work over at Westover Hills. Today's I Can statements are, I can use learning from this week to recognize and identify various polygons in the story, The Greedy Triangle by Marilyn Burns. Our second I Can statement is, I can use details from the text to select, create, and share the polygon that I would most like to be. Here's what you're going to need for today. You're going to need a pencil, some paper, or anything else to write on, and then any other materials if you would like to build your own polygon for our second part of our activity. These are all optional, and these are all tools that you may have used earlier this week with Miss Yeager. You could use spaghetti noodles, a ruler or another straight edge, scissors, Q-tips, string, or even ribbon. So this week, you guys have learned a ton about polygons with Mrs. Yeager. So I wanted to do a quick reminder for what exactly is a polygon. This week with Miss Yeager, you all discussed how a polygon is a closed shape with 3 or more angles. Here's an example. You'll see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. It's a closed shape. That means all of our line segments connect. And you're going to see it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Do you remember what we call this type of polygon? If you said quadrilateral, you're correct. So today we'll be listening to the story, The Greedy Triangle by Marilyn Burns. Before we get started, I want you to think about, what do you think or what do you predict this story will be about? When I look at the cover, I see a couple of things. Take a moment and see what you can find in the cover of this story. When I'm looking at the cover, I see a triangle, and he appears to be dancing on a stage because I see these curtains, so I'm inferring that maybe this is some sort of performance. It looks like there's a spotlight on this triangle. I also see a couple of other polygons. I see some quadrilaterals, a pentagon, a hexagon. I'm also noticing all of these polygons that are at top in the title of the story next to triangle. I'm wondering if this story is going to be about a character who may be selfish, because I know greedy means to take more than what you need. So I'm thinking maybe this character takes a lot, but he also looks pretty happy, and he looks like he's a performer. So I'm excited to see what this is going to be about. We're going to watch this story together, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can follow along with me. All right, we're going to listen to the story together. Again, this is The Greedy Triangle, written by Marilyn Burns and read to us by Katharina Chu.
The Greedy Triangle, written by Marilyn Burns, illustrated by Gordon Silveria. Once there was a triangle that was, as most triangles are, always busy. The triangle spent its time holding up roofs, supporting bridges, making music in a symphony orchestra, catching the wind for sailboats, being slices of pie and halves of sandwiches, and much, much more. The triangle's favorite thing, however, was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hips. That way, I always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. The triangle's friends liked hearing the news. One day, the triangle began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the triangle went to see the local shapeshifter. How may I help you? The shapeshifter asked the triangle. I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the triangle, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the triangle into a quadrilateral. Life changed in a wonderful way. The quadrilateral was happy with all the new things it could do. The quadrilateral could be a baseball diamond, or first, second, or third base. It could take a position on a checkerboard or a chessboard. It could be a television screen, a computer screen, or a movie screen. It could frame windows or picture frames, and much, much more. The quadrilateral's favorite thing, however, was to be the pages of a book. I can learn so many interesting stories that way, it said, which I can tell my friends. The quadrilateral's friends liked hearing the stories. But one day, the quadrilateral began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the quadrilateral went back to the shapeshifter. How may I help you now? The shapeshifter asked the quadrilateral. I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the quadrilateral, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the quadrilateral into a pentagon. Life changed in a wonderful way. The pentagon was happy with all the new things it could do. On a baseball diamond, the pentagon could be home plate. It could be a section of a soccer ball, or appear inside whenever someone drew a five-pointed star. The Pentagon's favorite thing, however, was to be the headquarters of the United States military near Washington, D.C. I hear all the top secrets that way, it said. It's too bad I can't tell them to my friends. The Pentagon's friends couldn't help feeling left out. After a while, time seemed to pass slowly for the Pentagon, and it became dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the Pentagon went back to the shapeshifter. So, you're here again, the shapeshifter said to the Pentagon. Now, what would you like? I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the Pentagon, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the pentagon into a hexagon. Life changed again in a wonderful way. The hexagon was happy with all the new things it could do. The hexagon fit in as floor tiles in houses and patios, and fancy crackers at parties and picnics. It worked as the socket of certain bolts and the prongs of certain wrenches. The hexagon's favorite thing, however, was to be a cell in a beehive. I love watching the bees as they buzz in and out, it said. The hexagon spent so much time in the beehive, it was too busy to talk to its friends. The friends missed the hexagon and couldn't help feeling ignored. Again and again, the shape became restless, dissatisfied, and unhappy with its life. Again and again, it returned to the shapeshifter for more sides and more angles. The shapeshifter agreed to turn it into one shape after another. A heptagon, an octagon, a nonagon, a decagon, and on and on. Finally, the shape had many, many sides and many, many angles. Its sides were so small that it had trouble keeping its balance. Its friends couldn't tell which side it was on and began to avoid the shape. One day, when the shape was going down a hill, it began to roll. Faster and faster it went, screeching around corners, crashing into fences and trees, colliding with bicycles, and terrifying walkers. At last, the shape came to a stop. It felt tired and dizzy, lonely and sad. Enough! thought the shape. I don't know which side is up. I can't keep my balance. My friends don't want me around. The shape could no longer remember why it had been so unhappy as a triangle. Very carefully, it made its way back to the shapeshifter. Aren't you happy yet? The shapeshifter asked. I want to be a triangle again, said the shape. I'm not surprised, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the shape back into a triangle. The triangle was delighted to have its old shape back again and kept itself very busy. Once again, it held up roofs, supported bridges, made music in a symphony orchestra, caught the wind for sailboats, became slices of pie and halves of sandwiches, and much, much more. Still, the triangle's favorite thing was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hips. That way, I always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. Its friends liked hearing the news and were glad the triangle was back in shape again.
I hope you all enjoyed that story. Was that story what you all were expecting it to be? As I was listening to the story, it made me think, if I had to be a shape, what would I like to be? As I was thinking about that, I thought that would be a great challenge for you all to try out today as well. For your task today, I want you to think about this question. If you could be a polygon, which polygon would you want to be and why? You can create a drawing and use complete sentences to describe your choice. Be sure to use math vocabulary in your response. When you're brainstorming, some things to think about may include, what have you been doing during all your free time recently? I know for me, I was thinking a lot about how I really enjoy baking or cooking on the grill or playing board games or even doing a puzzle. That made me think about one polygon in particular that would fit all of those. There's also a word bank that you can use to help you out. I've included all of the polygons that you've talked about this week with Mrs. Yeager, as well as some vocabulary that we also use when discussing polygons, such as sides, angles, and vertices. You can use these words to help you in your response. To answer today's challenge task, you can visit today's Flipgrid link, which is on your lesson page, which is where you found your video for today, or you can pause the screen and take a screenshot of our QR code to get to the Flipgrid link that way. Once you're there, you'll see the question along with all of your math vocabulary for you to either take a picture or create a video to share your response. I can't wait to see your work. Thanks so much for joining us again today, and I'll see you on Friday for our performance task.